to my channel. Thank you so very much for being here. I appreciate you guys. Today we're going to be making a recipe that I came up with, and it's going to be a simple bolillo rolls. Bolillos are a smaller French bread in Mexican and Hispanic heritages, but they're like a little small French bread. I'm going to make this recipe simple, but just as delicious. So come on in so I can show you what you're going to be needing for this recipe. Here's what you're going to be needing for this recipe. 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 tablespoon of instant rapid rise yeast. This is the brand I use. 3 cups of warm water, 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 tablespoons of oil. I have 7 cups of flour. So the first thing you're going to want to do, guys, is you're going to want to take your water and your yeast and your sugar. Now I like to place it into the water and let it proof a little bit before I add the rest of my ingredients. This step is important to me because I want to make sure my yeast is alive and active. Even if it has an expiration date on it, I still like to check it. I can already see it bubbling, so we'll wait for a few minutes just till it foams up a little more. So I see that our little yeast is active, and the way I like to check my temperature on my water is if it's the same temperature as when you fill your skin, if it's warm like that, then your temperature of your water should be good. I never use a thermometer. I usually just fill it with my finger, or just, you know, check it like that. Or like a baby bottle, drop it right here. I wanted to come up with this recipe, guys, so you guys can have something simple but delicious in your home and easy as well. So the first thing I do, if I don't get it all over the place first, is I like to dump all of my water, or place all of my water into a bowl. And you're going to want a large enough bowl. And then I take about 3 cups of the flour in the mixture as well. For some reason, I don't like placing the salt directly into the bowl over the yeast mixture. I don't know, I've just always done it this way. And then I place my salt and my oil in there, and I just like to mix that together first with a spoon before I add the rest of my flour. Bread is a little touchy in the fact that when you use different flours, or your weather or climate in your area, it could be touchy in that aspect. If you're not sure on how much flour you're going to need all together, you're going to want to add the flour in slowly. So that's what I did when I first started making breads, is just add the flour in slowly. And then once you get a hang of it, you'll be able to fill and know exactly how much flour you're going to need. So that was 3 cups. So I'm going to add the rest in. I'm going to add all this flour in. And for this part, once it gets too hard, you're going to want to mix it. You're going to want to use your hands. So make sure your hands are clean, because this part, you're going to have to get dirty, guys. So I just take it and kind of like fold it in with my hand. I lift it and then tuck it under. Lift it and kind of smash it together with my hands. That's my technique I use. lift it from the bottom and just squeeze, just to get everything incorporated. Now I'm going to do this for about 5 minutes. Now if you want, you can take it out and do it on the counter as well, but I'm going to just do it in the bowl. If you do it in the bowl, just make sure you hang tight to your bowl. See what I'm talking about, guys? The weather today is different from the other day that I did this recipe, but look, that's too sticky for me. So I'm gonna add about another half a cup here. So you guys are gonna have to play with it. So you just wanna add a little bit. Maybe I'm gonna add a half a cup to a fourth of a cup. But if you're not sure, just add a fourth of a cup more. Just a little at a time. So that was about maybe a little more than a fourth of a cup, but not quite half a cup. And I think that should be good. So I'm just gonna continue to work that in. Work that dough. Who says you need to go to the gym when you have dough working skills like this? A good indicator that you have enough flour is when you're working it, it's not sticking to your hand anymore like that. See that? But it's not over dry, because you don't want a dry dough either, because then it's going to be tough. So you just want to get it enough to where it's not like, it's tacky, but it's not like sticking to your hand. See how it looks? It's still tacky. I'm going to place it on my board now. So now I'm going to have a little flour for the side. And you just want to place your dough out on the counter now. Now what makes this recipe different is we're just going to do one rise, but these are going to be just as delicious. So you guys aren't waiting for hours and hours on end just to eat your bolillo. You're going to want to cut your dough into even balls, because these are going to be your dough balls. I'm not going to let it rest right now. You can if you want to, but the dough is pretty pliable. If you want, you can weigh them out so you can have even, you know, weighted rolls. I just kind of estimate when I feel them in my hand to see if they feel the same. And you're probably going to get about 11 bolillos out of here. 11 to 12, depending on how big you make them. You don't have to be precise, because life is full of surprises. So if you get that extra tiny bolillo, guess what? You're still going to eat it. And it's still going to be delicious because you made it from your hand with love. Well guys, I got a whole dozen out of here, which is awesome. And now I'm just going to put them in rolls. How I put them in rolls is I take the dough and I pull the pieces from the end and pull it towards the middle. You can flip it, pull it towards the middle so it can make a round ball. And then I pinch it. If you want, you can roll it on a flat surface. If you have a sticky surface on the bottom, just make sure you put a little bit of flour down. that I have all of my roll balls, my dough balls done, I'm just going to let them rest for about 10 minutes, and then I'll show you what you're going to be doing next.
So my audio started messing up right here, guys, on the video. So what I was explaining is that I took one large baking sheet and I greased it really well. But if you guys don't have one large baking sheet, you can also use 2 small sheet pans as well. It'll work just as great for you guys. What I was doing right here is you want to make sure you take your dough ball and flatten it kind of long ways. And then you want to take it and roll it and tuck it. And then once you come to the end, you want to pinch it together just so it can stay. And then you're going to take your hands and roll the ends, not the middle of your dough ball. And you want to make them a little bit longer to get the little pointier sides on the end. Then you're going to want to make sure you place it on your pan seam side down. And you're just going to continue to do that for the rest of your dough balls.
So here's how they came out, guys. You're going to want to let them rest. Now this is the part that just takes the longest. Is you letting them rest for an hour and rise. This is the one rise that I'm talking about. You guys, this is the important part because you are still going to let them rise for an hour. Make sure you put them in a warm area so they can have the heat to allow them to rise. If not, your rise time can take anywhere to a little over an hour, but an hour should be plenty of time. Alrighty guys, it's been an hour and look at these beauties. So what you're gonna do now is you're gonna want to have a really sharp knife. Now you're just gonna want to take your sharp knife and just make a line in your breads. You want it deep enough to where it opens up a little bit as you cook it, but not too deep. So I'm gonna finish doing the rest of these and then we're gonna stick them in the oven. Now at this point, you wanna make sure you preheat your oven to 450 degrees. Your oven has hot spots, then you're gonna wanna turn your breads during the cooking process. So mine's cooks uneven, so I know once the 10 minutes is up, I'm going to turn my tray around. So once you cut all of your breads, you're going to want to take a water bottle, or if you want, I usually do this too. I take a brush with some water in it and brush them with water, but I'm just going to spray them with water. But like I said, if you guys don't have a water bottle, just brush it on, guys. And this is so you can get that outer crust on the outside. So another thing that I think is important that you need to do is I took 1 tray of ice cubes, and inside my oven I have a tray in there, and I'm just gonna place the whole batch of ice cubes on there so it can create steam while you're cooking it. So just place it in, and then in 10 minutes we're going to turn down that heat to 375 degrees for another 12 to 15 minutes. I pulled these babies out of the oven and they're still hot. I'm going to put them on a cooling rack, and then I'm going to cover it with the towel for about 10 minutes until I try one of these beauties for you. You hear that crust? It's a nice crispy crust on the outside. So I'm gonna let it cool. Probably, I'm not gonna wait 10 minutes. I'm gonna wait 5 minutes. I want you guys to see you hear that crack on the top? Whew, still hot. I didn't wait, but look at that, guys. It's all steamy. Look how fluffy the inside is. That's a nice, easy bolillo roll. It's so good, guys. If you get the store-bought, you're gonna want these ones. These are so good. So guys, don't forget to try this delicious recipe and share it with others. Like this video, and until next time, have a beautiful, blessed day, and we'll be seeing you guys soon. Bye, guys!
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more of these videos.